Hey, what's up guys? It's Sam Owens with MadCareerSkills.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about how you can ask your boss for a pay raise. Now, these conversations can be a little daunting and sometimes they can go really bad, but they don't have to. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 simple steps that if followed, you'll be able to walk in with your boss and have a very productive conversation about your career, and maybe even get paid. You're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. Unless you're not very good at your job, in which case this probably won't work. So listen, before we get into the steps, I just want to highlight how important it is that if you believe you deserve a promotion, that you ask for it and you be assertive. There are so many people today who should have been promoted a long time ago but aren't, simply because they did not ask. They don't want to have a difficult conversation with their managers, and so they wind up chickening out, basically. So don't chicken out. You have to remember that your promotion is not necessarily on the top of your boss's list. Your boss is dealing with all sorts of stuff, right? So for me personally, the times I've had my boss walk into my office and say, hey, you know what, I've been thinking we ought to give you a promotion. That's happened. Never. Okay, that has never ever happened. Okay, I always have to be ahead of it and be persistent and ask for the things that I want in my career. And you do too. All right, so let's get into the steps. Step number 1 is to set up a meeting with your boss, specifically with the goal of talking about your career, okay? And the reason you want to do this is because you want your boss to take you seriously. And so when you set up a hour meeting with the sole purpose of talking about your career and salary, your boss has to take you seriously. And you have to take it seriously too. You need to be prepared, etc. So that's the best way to do it. Set up a meeting. Step number 2 is, when you get to the meeting, set a tone of positive partnership. So many times, salary discussions can be adversarial, me versus you, employee versus manager, etc., but it doesn't have to be that way. If you walk in the beginning and you say, hey, I just want to thank you for taking this time to talk about my career. My career is very important to me, clearly, but the fact that you would take a half hour to specifically talk about my career and my development means a lot to me and shows me that you care about my career as well. And there's a lot of other ways to do this. Hey, I just want you to know I'm super excited about this company and everything I've been able to do here, and I appreciate you taking this time to be a mentor. Step number 3, and the most important step, is to provide rationale for why you believe you should be promoted. So you walk into the meeting and you say, I would like to be promoted, and here's why. So there are 4 types of rationale that you could give. 1 is not good, 3 are good. Okay, so let's talk about the not good one. The first not good type of rationale is what I call me rationale. And this is when everything you say is all about you. So like, hey, I just got a new house, so I need the money. I just bought a new car, so I need the money. I need some new clothes, so I need the money. I don't get paid enough to do this job. I'm not happy. I should be paid more. Me, 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 me. That will fall on deaf ears. Bosses do not want to hear me rationale. The second type of rationale is a good rationale, and it's called you rationale. And this is where you say, hey boss, let me tell you what I've done for you and this company lately. I grew sales by X%. I reduced customer complaints by Y. I am super good looking, and that's valuable. Come with rationale that's quantifiable to show that you've done a lot and you've added value and you're worth more to the organization. The third type of rationale is market rationale. This is where you do your research and you realize that other companies pay more for your job than your company. And so you can do your research and show, hey boss, I believe that similar people at other companies with similar experiences doing the same type of work are getting paid more. Companies want to be competitive. And so if you provide a thoughtful piece of research that shows that they're not being competitive, your boss can take that back to the human resources department or whoever he or she needs to take it back to and potentially make some adjustments, and it might result in a pay raise for you. The fourth type of rationale is equity rationale. And this is kind of similar to market rationale, but it's when you actually look within your own company and you see people, your peers that are doing the same work as you and that have the same level of experience as you are getting paid more. It is more than fair to ask. Say, hey, I believe that my peers are being compensated more than me, and I would ask that you and human resources take a look to make sure that I'm being paid competitively. And so they should be able to go back and do an analysis and come back to you and say, yes, you are, or no, you're not. All right, so that's step number 3, give them rationale. Step number 4 is to throw out a number. A lot of people don't want to do this because it's a little uncomfortable, right? But you want to be the one to throw out a number on what your pay raise should be. And the reason is because typically that's the starting point for negotiation, okay? And so it's likely to come down a little bit. So you want to be the one in control setting that anchor, that starting point for negotiation. Where do you want to put the number? I recommend you put it somewhere between laughable, so you don't want to be above laughable, where they're like, that's ridiculous. But you also want it to be above, sure, no problem, we can do that easy, right? Because if you do that, you're going to be like, dang it, I left money on the table, right? So somewhere in between laughable and no problem is where you want to be. The way I think about it is when you say the number inside, you want to be going like this. Not on the outside. On the outside, you're like, no, I'm dead serious about this. I'm serious. Take me seriously. But on the inside, you're doing this, right? So outside, inside. Okay? That's kind of where you want to be. And finally, the 5th thing you want to do is set up a follow-up meeting. The reason you want to do this is, number 1, your boss likely cannot give you a pay raise on the spot. He or she probably has to go to their boss. He or she probably has to go to human resources, to his or her boss, to be able to actually get this done. So you want to give them some time to digest your point of view and your rationale, and then come back to you with a response. And number 2, you don't want your boss to forget about you or to deprioritize you. This has happened to me. Okay, I had a boss a few years ago, a very good boss, but I had asked this person for a pay raise, and she said, sure, let me look into that. And 5 months went by, and I never followed up with her, and I never set up a follow-up meeting because I was worried I was going to pester her and that she was working on it. Well, lo and behold, after 5 months, I get up the courage to ask her about it, and she had completely forgotten. So I missed out on 5 months of getting paid, because I did get the raise, by the way. I missed out on 5 months because I didn't set up a follow-up meeting. So there you have it, guys. Those are the 5 steps. Set up a formal meeting with the specific purpose of your salary. Set a tone of positive partnership. Give them rationale, and when you do, stay away from me rationale. Focus on you rationale, market rationale, and equity rationale. Give them a stretch number, and finally, agree to a follow-up meeting. You do those 5 things, and at a very minimum, you're going to have a very productive conversation with your boss, and at the best, you're going to get paid. So thanks a lot for joining, guys. If you like this video, consider subscribing, and I'll keep sending you content just like this. And the last thing I'll say is, if you are looking for a job right now and going through the interview process, you can go to madcareerskills.com and download a job interview guide. It's free. It's got a lot of sample questions, and a lot of sample answers, and other tips and tricks on how to nail an interview, okay? And until next time, guys, if you want to get better at your job, get some Mad Career Skills.